Most people say that Wing Chun lacks grappling. I both agree and disagree. Now what I agree with is that you need in modern days to be able to handle somebody who can grab. That doesn't mean that you grab. Remember, usually your opponent will be stronger and bigger than you in a real fighting scenario. So if I, for example, he has to be able to, if I certainly try to get to him and I want to grab him, if I go for him, he needs to be able to avoid me taking his legs, or if I want to pass in, I want him to be able to avoid that I can get to his hands, and even if I... So he gets used to moving around it, and if I get into a clinch, he doesn't really clinch me, he actually hits me. So even if I'm in a 50-50, if I'm in a 50-50 and I want to, then he counters my 50-50, and then you say, okay, I'm just going to give him a knee, but when he does that, there's no knee available. You say, I'm just going to give him an elbow, but there's no elbow there. So it's not that you can't use all kinds of stuff, it's just that you don't want to grapple somebody that's bigger and stronger than you. And if there's more than one opponent, and you're on the ground, let's say that we're on the ground, I'll bring you to the ground, I'm here, I'm in a scenario where I can hit him. If he's at a friend, he can attack me. This would be a terrible scenario for me. So it's ridiculous to try to go to the ground if there's more than one opponent. Another thing that you really have to think about if you decide to go to the ground is, if you bring a guy to the ground, if he brings me, he's a grappler, he brings me somehow to the ground, I'm going to the ground. Now when I'm on the ground, let's say that I was actually myself able to control him, let's say that I take him around here, and I get on top of him, if I'm in a scenario where I get on top of him, now if I'm dominating, he can't escape. Now if I was up here, and I'm dominating, he can escape. So, bring him to the ground. You better be sure that you're the one dominating. You better be sure there's no opponent. You better be sure that he has no weapon. And another thing is, you are usually on hard pavement, or on a hard floor with surfaces and objects that can hurt you. There's no padded mattress. So, the floor is not really, it's a mat, it's a sports idea. Actually, really good jiu-jitsu fighters, when I've spoken with them, like really high-class jiu-jitsu fighters, if they're used to fighting in the street, they say a fight should be taken standing up in the street.